What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. Now, I know that I have been absent from YouTube for the last couple of weeks, but I promise there has been a very good and very personal reason why, and that's what this video is going to be all about. I've already briefly touched on this over on my Instagram, giving a brief kind of rundown of what did actually happen, but I did want to make this video too because I just wanted to share in more detail what actually happened and just talk more openly and honestly, because I think it is so powerful to be able to share an experience. And I think for me personally, I've really found comfort and support in other people telling me their similar stories, so hopefully this video maybe does that too. And also, I just want to be honest with you guys, and I think the best way to do that is just to be open, even if it does feel like a super personal topic to be talking about. So before I get into the full story and juicy details, let's just give a really big disclosure in saying that this is not a medical video, okay? I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing or giving advice or any of the above. I'm literally just sharing my experience and what happened for me. It is going to be totally different depending on where you are in the world, what situation you're in. So I just want to disclose that first because it's super important to say. So we need to wind back a month or two, back to July. So in July, I got my letter for my routine smear test, okay? It's my second smear test. I was turning 28 at the end of July. I had a very normal routine smear at 25. In the UK, we get them every 3 years, okay? So it's my letter to say, hun, 3 years has been up, come back for another smear. Now, if you're watching this and you have one of those letters at home, book your smear right now. Pause this video, ring your doctor and book your smear. Please, please promise me that you are going to do that, because it is literally the most important thing. It's not scary, it's not painful, it's not even embarrassing. I promise you, book your smear. Okay. Moving on. So I had my smear and I waited around 2 weeks to get my results. I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest, because my first smear had been super normal. I class myself as far as I'm aware, being pretty healthy, look after myself, etc. So I literally didn't even think about it. And then 2 weeks later, I had a letter come through with my results saying that I had high grade moderate abnormalities detected. So that's kind of like the middle of the three kind of ratings that they can give you. So it was high grade, moderate. I was so shocked. Okay, I was so shocked. It also said in the letter that I tested HPV positive, which I was also surprised at because I had the HPV vaccine when I was 16 at school, but later I've obviously just found out that that actually only protects you for roughly around 70%. So that was an eye-opener. But anyway, yes, so I was very shocked because I just wasn't expecting it at all. And I also got a letter through the same day from the hospital to say that I'd been invited for an emergency colposcopy, which is where they basically have a look inside, see what is going on, and yeah, hopefully try and either just give you some reassurance, see what's going on, or give you some treatment if you need it. The next 2 weeks for me from that point onwards were not great. I spiraled into a super negative headspace. Firstly, I decided it was a good idea to Google every single thing I could think of, which don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. It doesn't help. And it just really fueled my worries, and it just gave me too much information in my head that I felt like I couldn't not think about it. And I told my family, my close family, but I didn't really tell anybody else. I didn't talk about it online because there wasn't really anything to say yet, and it was all kind of like speculation. This could happen, this might be the outcome. There was nothing kind of concrete to go off. So I kind of said that I wanted to go to the appointment, see what happened, and then I could have actually something to kind of like say and share. It was definitely tough, I'm not gonna lie. And if you're in a similar position where you're maybe waiting for an appointment or referral for something, I totally get it. Your mind can eat away at you, so I do get it. So the day of the appointment came and I did feel super kind of like psyched up. I wasn't massively anxious, I just felt like I really was almost like looking forward to seeing what was going to happen, because I built it up in my head so much over the last 2 weeks. One of the interesting things that I did read on a forum, which was so helpful, was loads of women saying wear a floaty skirt or like a floaty dress, because then you can stay in your dress and obviously you can just like lift your dress up. You don't have to take your bottoms off, and you just feel a little bit more like less exposed. That was honestly the best tip ever, and I would recommend it even for a smear test, because it just means you can kind of like keep your majority of your clothing on and you just feel a little bit comfier. So I went equipped in my floaty dress. I was ready to rumble. So I am going to chat a little bit about what actually happened in the appointment. I know it is super personal, but to be honest with you, I think sharing is caring, and I think it might help if you are maybe about to go through something similar, or maybe like me, you're trawling the internet and you find this video and you're just thinking, what the hell is going to go on? I know that everyone's experience is going to be different, and it's different depending on where you are in the world, what your results were, all that type of thing. But I also think that I just think it's good to share and be honest. So when I first went into the appointment, the doctor sat me down. There were two lovely nurses in the room as well, and the doctor, and we just chatted through kind of like what my results had said. I started with 1,000 questions about, what does this mean? What about this? What about the risks of this? What about this? And she was so great at just saying, look, all of this is kind of like speculation. Until I actually have a look, I can't really tell you much more than what kind of like the smear has found. And it's all kind of speculation of, it could be this could happen. So that kind of shut me up for a little bit. So I was then asked to just step into a little kind of like a side room that's within the room, like a privacy room, take my pants off and just come back through to get myself set up in the chair. Now it's kind of like a bed chair thing. It's a chair, it's more of a chair than it is a bed, but you're kind of led backwards and you pop your feet up on two like little platforms so that your legs are obviously up. There is honestly no reason to feel embarrassed or weird. I know I felt really kind of like exposed, and you just feel a bit like, okay, what's going on here? But honestly, they see women's lovely lady bits every single day, and they're not looking at that. They're looking at what's going on and what's going on inside, and they're looking at it in a very matter-of-fact medical way. So honestly, don't feel weird whatsoever. It's all in your head, because there's nothing to worry about. So then the doctor started to have a look, and they do use a dye, I believe, to help them see what kind of like cells show up as being abnormal, and just to help them be able to see what's going on. They do also have a camera. I did have a camera in mine, so there was a screen kind of next to me where I could see what was going on. Now, I am ridiculously squeamish. Like, I cannot even express how bad I am with like gore or blood or anything remotely gross. I just can't cope. So I just said to her, look, I'm not gonna look because it's just like a little bit too much for me. But when she had put the dye in, and obviously I did have some cells which did turn white, which means they are abnormal, I did look, because it did kind of help me. And she just explained, look, this is where it is, this is what I'm gonna have to do. And it just helped me be able to see it, because you can't really see otherwise what's going on. And although it was like a little bit gross and a little bit like, is that me? What's going on there? It was honestly helpful, I found, as somebody who is super squeamish. It was okay. So at this point, she did tell me that she wasn't happy with the cells that she had found, and that she did really want to just take them out then and there. Now, this was probably the worst case scenario I'd built up in my head, and in honesty, I tried up until that point to stay so positive and like just say to myself, you know, they're just gonna look at it and it's gonna be fine, like they're not gonna need to do anything. Like, no, I was wrong. But it kind of hit me quite hard, because I'd honestly expected for that not to be the outcome. So I burst into tears was what happened, and just said, you know, I'm really worried, like what about the risks, like I'm just, you know, everything kind of came out in one go. And she just said, Emily, look, the main priority right now is making sure that you're okay, you're healthy, you're well, and from my perspective, any future potential risks or, you know, side effects or anything like that does not outweigh me treating you safely and making sure that you're safe and well, and that we get these cells just out the way. So I totally respected that and let the procedure obviously go ahead. And my next question and worry was that it was really going to hurt, what was going to happen. There was obviously nobody with me because of COVID. No one could come with me, so it was just me. And again, as someone who's a big baby when it comes to anything like this, I instantly felt myself starting to worry and panic. So I asked one of the lovely nurses if she could come and stand right next to me. So she came and stood literally as close as she could next to me, and I said, can you just talk to me the whole time? And she said, I'm not going to leave your side, chat to me about whatever you want. And I was just talking, honestly, we're talking about One Tree Hill for most of it because I've been binge watching it on Amazon. So that really helped because number one, I wasn't like looking at anything, I was just staring at her lovely face, chatting to her, and it just kind of like passed the time really. So the procedure itself is called a LEAP procedure. It involves removing the abnormal cells using a thin wire loop that's heated with an electric current, and it is done under local anesthetic. She said to me that I shouldn't feel any pain. I might just feel a bit of pain and a very slight prick when she's doing the anesthetic, but I shouldn't feel any pain. It might just be a little bit uncomfortable, and that the procedure would only literally last 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'd be on my way back home again. So I felt pretty happy that it was going to be quick, but still super apprehensive about what was going to hurt, how it was going to feel, and all of that really normal stuff that then starts to go through your mind. I am really happy to say that from my experience, the procedure did not hurt, okay? It was uncomfortable for a few minutes, and in a few kind of like just little places it felt like a little bit uncomfortable, but in general it was so quick, and just speaking to that nurse and just keeping myself distracted made the biggest difference. And also because the doctor knew that I was really nervous, she didn't tell me what she was doing, okay? So she had already done 2 out of the 3 local anesthetic shots, and I said, I'm really worried about when the anaesthetic is going to come and is it going to hurt? And she said, I've already done 2 out of the 3 of them and you haven't even felt it. So honestly, it was more the idea of it and the apprehension. It was super quick, and she was really good, really calm, and just talked to me kind of like as much as I needed to. They also did take a biopsy, which I don't get the results for another, it's 6 weeks in total. And I then go for a follow-up smear in 6 months time, where they kind of check that everything has gone back to normal, or kind of like have another look at things if they haven't. So that was kind of it really. I was then on my way back home, and to be honest with you, the next couple of days were just like bad period pains. There was nothing kind of scary or weird or super abnormal. I think because you're used to period pains and you know what that pain feels like, and it for me felt like exactly the same feeling. It didn't feel like anything too kind of like foreign happening. It just felt kind of like those womanly pains that you get kind of at the bottom kind of like area of your tummy. I did have quite a lot of like swelling and bloating happen in my tummy, but again, I get that with my period anyway, so maybe that was just kind of like my body's way of reacting. But honestly, it was nowhere near as bad as what I thought it was going to be. And I'm now 2 weeks post procedure, and I'm feeling okay. All right, I am feeling okay. I'm still a little bit uncomfortable, and the recovery time is 4 weeks, okay? So it does take 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks for you to kind of fully heal and be able to get back to a completely normal routine, and kind of ease back into things. But yes, I'm 2 weeks after and definitely feeling better. Still some slight bleeding and still some slight uncomfiness, but generally good. So one of the things that I think was super hard for me to kind of process was, not only was I trying to process everything that had kind of like happened and all the emotions around what had happened and what had felt like it happened super quickly, I think because the procedure ended up happening just then and there during that appointment, but also just the reality that I can't really do my job very well for the next 4 weeks. Because if you are just watching this video, then you might not know this, but I obviously do workout videos and just share my healthy lifestyle on Instagram, and also usually on YouTube too. So it is kind of in my job to be active and doing stuff, and my way of training, my passion is weightlifting, and that's literally one of the main things that you cannot do whatsoever for the first 4 weeks. So I'm not gonna lie that didn't hit me like a ton of bricks. Not only because it's my job and I feel so passionate about sharing and empowering women with ways to move their body in a way that makes them feel good and makes them feel strong, but also because it is my passion and my mental release, my way of feeling good, my way of feeling strong, my one thing that I can do for myself every single day that makes me feel good and clears my head, and it was gone. So it has been weird, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna lie and say that the last 2 weeks have been an absolute breeze and I've just been killing it in a mental headspace, because I haven't. I've had bad days, I've had bad moments, I've had meltdowns, there's been a lot of tears, okay? A lot of tears. But the important thing I want to say is that those bad moments have passed, and my focus is honestly just to keep my headspace as healthy and happy and positive as possible. I am very, very lucky that I have never had a injury or worry or wobble or setback like this before, since I kind of embarked on this journey, or ever, to be honest. So I've never really had to feel what it's like to properly have to sit on the bench, take some time out, and all the frustration that comes with that. So if you are in a similar situation, not necessarily the same procedure or the same thing that's happened, but if you have had to take some time off, maybe you've got an injury, maybe you've been away, or maybe there's just a lot happening in your life right now and you have had to take a back seat and slow down, I totally get it, but it will pass. It's a small blip in the grand scheme of things, and these are all the things that I've just been reminding myself of on a daily basis. Feel free to ask me any questions you want to down below. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving out any medical advice or anything like that. But if you do have questions about my experience or what happened or something more specific, then please feel free to drop it down below, because I will try and answer them all and just have a chat with you all, because honestly, one of the things that helped me the most in those first couple of days was all of the incredible messages on Instagram, the comments, the DMs, everything, and just that real support system, and people just saying, hey, I had something similar to 5 years ago, or I had something similar to a few weeks ago, or I had something similar but the outcome was different, or you've just reminded me to go and get my smear. Honestly, just sharing and talking, it's nothing to be embarrassed about, it's nothing to feel like you can't talk about, and I just want to really prove that and show that by talking about it. Right, I'm gonna leave this video here because I feel like it is super long and I've just rambled for ages, but hopefully it has been helpful. It is a very different video for me, but I feel like it was a really important one to make, and even if it only just encourages you to go and book your smear and get your smear done and not fear it, then that is a big win for me. I have got a lot of exciting videos planned over the next couple of weeks or so, now that I'm starting to feel a little bit better and able to get back into things a little bit more. So make sure you subscribe so you are ready for those. And I'm still sharing bits over on my Instagram. I have a whole load of kind of like backlog of workouts and stuff that I had ready, and also just my general stuff that I still share is still happening over on my Instagram. So come and check that out too, and I'll see you guys in the next one.